On the air and streaming live at WIFR.com. The 23 News Update at 10 starts right now.
We're finding people dead laying in their beds on the floor with needles sticking out of their arms because it killed them that fast.
Our top story, there's a growing concern of heroin use in the state line. Coming up, we hear from a mother that say drugs have destroyed her family.
Then a big discrepancy in a study done on Rockford's Mail Processing Center. What kind of response Congressman Don Manzullo got from a heated letter sent to the man in charge?
And later, U.S. auto sales accelerate to the highest levels in about 2 years. Coming up, we will take a look into how the Belvidere Chrysler plant plays into that. Good evening and welcome to 23 News Update at 10. I'm Mike Garrigan.
And I'm Tina Stein. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's a drug so cheap, even the broke can afford it. And now it's causing major problems in the state line.
In tonight's Operation Safer Streets segment, 23 News reporter Megan Dwyer tells us about a surge in heroin use and introduces us to a family hit hard by this deadly drug.
In the end, eventually took his life. He just could not break free.
Tammy Perry's husband died 6 years ago from a heroin overdose. He was 36. He left behind 4 sons. The youngest is now 12.
Pretty much lost everything. It's just, it doesn't go away. Without treatment, it just doesn't go away.
According to the Winnebago County Coroner's Office, 19 people overdosed on heroin this year. The drug has taken the lives of 70 people over the last 3 years.
Usually you see an uptick in drug use, and especially in hard drug use, when the economy's bad, and the economy's been bad for a while.
And over the last 6 years, heroin use has dramatically spiked in the state line. And instead of getting better, more people are using.
It's so cheap and so readily available. It's something that is accessible to practically anyone.
It only costs $10 a bag.
And when it comes to drugs, you're going to choose whatever kills the pain the best and whatever's the cheapest, and that's been heroin for.
It's not just Rockford. Police in Janesville say this year they have confiscated 40% more heroin than normal, about 60 grams. But unlike other drugs like meth, heroin users are more likely to kick the habit.
And it's never too late. It's never too late to get help.
And it has to happen. We have to pay more attention to this issue. We have to put more resources into helping people because it's destroying families.
Now, Tammy's husband struggled with his addiction for about 7 years. At the end, she felt she had no choice but to take her children and leave.
$10 a bag, that's pretty alarming.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I had no idea. How do people even get into heroin in the first place?
Like we heard, it's really easy to get. Tammy's husband had friends who did it. High school kids often mix it with opiates or other prescription drugs, which can make it even more dangerous. In Winnebago County, it's now the second most popular drug to marijuana.
Wow, scary stuff.
Lost a family friend of that. It's terrible.
Thank you, Megan. Well, we still don't know if 3 alleged Marie's Pizza robbers will be tried together, but one thing that's for sure, Lamar Coates won't be free until a jury says so. A judge revoked his bond today. Also, Desmond Bellman pled not guilty to all charges, including first-degree murder. They're charged in the robbery that ended in one of their alleged accomplices getting shot to death by an off-duty Winnebago County Sheriff's deputy. We also learned there is surveillance video of the incident. However, chances of that being made public are unlikely at this time.
A Janesville man is locked up tonight for allegedly having child porn. 28-year-old Alan Mersa Jr. was arrested. Police say they recovered computers and several hard drives from his home that had sexually explicit images of children. Mersa is in the Rock County Jail and will appear in court tomorrow. New developments in a story we first brought you earlier today about a forceful letter sent by Congressman Don Manzullo to the Postmaster General. It's concerning the planned consolidation of the Rockford Mail Processing Center.
The Deputy Postmaster General told Manzullo tonight that a planned December 8th hearing to analyze data in support of the closure has been delayed until sometime in January. Last week, the USPS said a recent study supported consolidating the Rockford Processing Center with the Madison, Wisconsin Center, meaning the loss of 200 local jobs. A similar study in 2006 also initially suggested consolidating the Rockford Center. Manzullo then found data from that study that was incorrect, and as a result, the Rockford Center stayed open. Now he's demanding that information from this current study be released immediately.
I'll get a call probably by noon tomorrow, and we're waiting to get all the information going into their study. We'll take that study and give it to the folks in Rockford, have them begin to process it, analyze it, and possibly come up with their own conclusions.
Manzullo says he knows the Postal Service needs to save money, but he suggests doing so by getting rid of what he calls incredibly huge amount of bonuses that are being paid out to USPS executives.
The congressman spoke with us from Washington. In the meantime, there was quite the crowd outside his Rockford office today. Protesters from MoveOn.org, which is similar to the Occupy Wall Street movement, camped outside his office demanding more help for small businesses and no more tax breaks for the wealthy. The local Tea Party also made an appearance to defend the congressman. They argued for lower taxes, less spending, and smaller government.
When it comes to education, Rockford Public Schools are lagging behind most of the nation. That's why District 205 is partnering with the community to change its operations. Here's a look at its 5 initiatives called Readiness Rocks. They include college and career readiness, 7 periods to success, 21st century learning, and preschool and college for all. The district is working with city and county leaders to implement the changes. However, with recent superintendent changes, there's some concern if leadership changes again, these goals may not move forward.
I do feel very, very positive that we will be able to maintain those and sustain those and move forward with those initiatives regardless of who assumes the superintendency. I think that's going to be the big key.
It's believed Rockford Public Schools is the only district in the nation to take on all 5 of these initiatives. And 78% of you think area schools are not doing enough to encourage students to go to college. Thanks for logging on to WIFR.com to cast your vote.
One local college is trying to make that next step seem more attractive. Hundreds of juniors and seniors took part in Career Day with Rockford College today. They took part in seminars on how to network and what to look for in higher education. Students also had the opportunity to meet with local professionals to find out how they went about accomplishing their goals. New jobs and cheaper electricity could be heading to the state line. Houston-based Clean Line Energy is considering building part of its long-haul transmission project in the state line area. The project moves clean energy from wind farms in Iowa and Nebraska to the East Coast. This could create construction jobs and cheaper electricity rates.
November was the best month for U.S. car sales in over 2 years. And when it comes to sales gains, Chrysler has every other auto company in its rearview mirror. Chrysler saw a 45% increase in year-to-year sales in November. It's the 6th consecutive month of sales gains of at least 20%, and it's much higher than the other 3 U.S. automakers. Ford saw a 13% November to November increase, while GM edged up just 7%. And the Belvedere-made Jeep Compass is clearly headed in the right direction. It went from just over 400 vehicles sold last November to well over 4,000 this November, a gain of 887%. The Jeep Patriot saw an increase of 46%, while year-to-year sales of the Dodge Caliber did drop by 62%. Overall, 3,100 more Belvedere-made vehicles were sold this November compared to last.
Move over, Brad Pitt. Rockford now has its own version of Moneyball. World Series Baseball is coming to the Forest City this summer. The American Amateur Youth Baseball Alliance chose Rockford to host one of its 4 2012 World Series tournaments. More than 2,000 players, coaches, and fans are expected to travel to Rockford during the 3rd week of July. The tournament is expected to bring in about $1.2 million to the local economy. And a big congrats tonight to Jim and Pam Keeling. Their humanitarian efforts landed them recipients of the Excalibur Award. The Excelsior Award went out to the Winnebago County Court-appointed special advocates for the extensive work they do for abused and neglected kids. Glad to see them recognized.
Quite an accomplishment.
Yes. Well, still to come on the 23 News Update at 10, how you can get extra help making sure Santa arrives on time this year.
Very important. Plus, we'll outline a major defense spending bill that some feel violates basic human rights.